Hello and welcome. Dirty William here, back in the DDO, Dungeons & Dragons Online game world. This time, though, not for gameplay, but for commentary. I watched a video by Axel on his DDO channel. I'll put a link to his channel in the description. But it was focused on his thoughts regarding updates to the game and what he's been doing in the game. So I thought, I've never done a discussion type of a video. I've never given any inclination of where my head's at as far as the game goes. So this might be an opportunity for me to do that and share at least what I think should happen with the game, or the direction that I think that the game will take. Today I'm going to be talking about the end game of DDO. Most people can probably argue that there is no end game for DDO. At the moment, once your character is capped and you have all the gear that you want for him or her, your options on progress are limited. You can TR and start back at level 1 or 15 or 20 depending on the type of TR that you do, but that's not really end game. That's like rereading a book when you already skipped the last chapter. Another option is creating alts to try different builds, but again, it's not end game. Using the book analogy, it's like reading several books at the same time, but still missing that last chapter. I have several alts, and each will have the same problem whenever they get to cap. They'll have all the gear I want for them, they'll be in the right destiny, have all the twists, have all the past lives I want, and then what? They're all dressed up with no place to go. Sometime this year, the level cap will be raised to 30. The end game will most likely include several quests, a new crafting mechanic, and a raid or two. This is the formula that's been used in most of the adventure packs that include a raid. Caught in the Web had upgradable weapons, Epic Giant Hold had upgradable items, Thunderholm has a crafting system, Epic Orchard has several ways to upgrade them. And the formula works to a degree, but it all ends up being the same carrot on a stick. You loot item X, combine it with ingredients Y and Z for a weapon or item that might be considered leveling gear in a few months. And that kind of detracts from a static and reliable end game. But XP and gear are the two main carrots on a stick, so it's hard to break out of that pattern. We grind Devil Scales for our green steel items, we run Thunderholm for crafting ingredients, we have Heroic Elite Bravery Streaks so we can hurry up and cap and then, what, do it again? Or retire? In DDO, like any game, there's a challenge and reward system. The reward for having a Heroic Elite Streak is a huge bucket full of XP. The reward for running Epic Elite is top gear and overcoming the challenge of what is supposed to be the most difficult setting in the game. The question is, though, how do we create this last chapter of the book, this DDO endgame, without relying too much on XP and gear, which are the old carrot on the stick trick? I wasn't playing DDO at the time, but in Module 6.1, a huge vortex appeared over the marketplace tent. And then the tent just went all blowy-uppy, and there was a server versus server race to see who could unlock the subterrane. That just drips of being epic. The Crystal Cove raid, of sorts, opens when X number of map pieces are turned in. And the more recent live event of the Mimic Festival, supposedly when the server reached 2,000 Mimic kills, there would be a Mimic Frenzy, where every chest in the game became a Mimic. It worked pretty well, even though the event mostly took place in the side entrance of the Lord's March Bank in the marketplace. But, like the Monster Champions, it added spicy goodness and more randomness to the game. So, we kind of have the possibility of live events, so why not make that the end game? What I mean is, why don't we tie player actions to events within the game world? A recent thread on the DDO site mentioned mythic levels, a higher level than even epic characters. What if these mythic characters, just by the act of them playing special mythic content, could trigger server-wide events for a short amount of time? For example, let's say you have a character that is capped XP, has all the gear you want, and you undertake this arduous quest to attain this mythic level. The quest is long and difficult, kind of like a cross between the Crucible and the Haunted Halls of Evening Star, with divergent paths that are easier for some classes to complete. The quest tests not only your firepower, but skills like Bluff, Intimidate, Heal, Disable Device, or even Swim. things you don't normally use in day-to-day questing. Well, when you complete this quest, you're then a mythic character blessed by whatever force or deities put you through the trial. Now, your job or your duty is to spread those blessings to other people by completing mythic quests in a mythic wilderness, let's say. When you do these tasks, the server receives a reward that lasts for a short amount of time. DDO has heroic and epic XP bonuses, crafting XP bonuses, and challenge ingredient bonuses, just to name a few. But what if your character could unlock, say, a 5-minute 25% Slayer boost, or a 1% stacking XP boost for the entire server? What if your actions, just by playing, increases the loot bonus for the end reward of a certain quest, like a daily quest that is found in other MMOs? It's kind of random, like the Colors of the Queen or the Shradi procs. It keeps it interesting for all those people on Korthos. Now, these mythic characters need some type of compensation for their time, or they just won't run the mythic quests. I've really racked my brain trying to think of non-item rewards for them, but again, it's hard to break out of that XP and gear mindset, that old carrot on the stick. Titles are something that are not yet implemented in DDO, so that's an option. Now, I don't know anything about coding of a video game, so the reason it's not live is it could just be that it doesn't work or it's too buggy. But still, it's a thought that could happen. Character housing was mentioned on the main DDO site some time ago. The MMO Rift has pocket dimensions that allow your character to collect and furnish a room or two. So a door like the airship entrance could be a thing, where it's used to access your apartment or mansion, depending on what you've unlocked or obtained in the game, or purchased in the DDO store. Maybe you can hang some of those mimic cards on the wall as decoration. Again, I'm not a programmer, so I'm not sure how difficult this would be to implement, but it breaks away from the run quest to flag for a raid, run the raid for materials, and use the materials to make a thing cycle. Now, all these ideas from the forum and myself are very interesting prospects, but I'm not really sure if DDO needs an endgame. An endgame is final, and at least for a while, but the problem is when the next adventure pack or expansion is released, people will be looking at what the best in slot items are again. So power creep is arguably already a problem, and it could get much worse. So long and short is, and this is going to sound like a cop-out, but honestly I think it's up to the individual to determine what their end game is. Some of us are power gamers and they zerg through quests. Some of us can barely handle a hard streak, and they want to get every breakable in the quest and sniff the flowers. We're all very different, but we all play because the game is fun, or at least it should be fun. So instead of thinking of end game, maybe we should enjoy the ride instead of worrying about the destination so much. Again, it might sound like a cop-out, but there's so much to do in this game that having a final capstone quest just might detract from all the other content. Someone in a recent DDO post said, "Why are you so worried about the 1%, this top-tier elite final endgame people, that group? There's so many other things. There's the entire rest of the game that you're just losing out on." Anyway, that's my thoughts on what endgame probably will be, or what I think it should be, and trying to incorporate more of the multiplayer aspect to the game. Thank you all for watching, and until next time, this is Dirty William reminding you to do the dirty work.